experiences. In one of my recent videos, I made the statement that when I listen to Mahler, I believe in God. And for me as a musician, music is at times borders on a very spiritual sort of thing. But the difference is, and this is also something that Santana says, is that there is a fact of the matter. Somewhere below all of this, there is almost irreparably something that we can understand about it in a truth sense. So I think as long as we're trying to get to whatever that is, that there's no real opposition that I would be able to take to a spiritual atheist or some other such term.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've kind of moved on to a discussion here about, I mean, it seems like we're having a cosmological discussion now, earlier, and now we're having more of a discussion about spiritual experience and what use this term may have. And I wonder, Jonathan, is your relation to God for philosophical reasons, or does it also include sort of the desire to account for spiritual experiences? Or in other words, is God a logical device for you, or is it an attempt to account for an experiential sort of experience, excuse me, an experiential state that you had?
Sure. It's a logical one. It's a logical one, and it begins and ends with the infinite regression stuff we were talking about earlier. Any experience that you have, and regardless of whether or not I've had them, it's tricky stuff, because you know that you can dream, and you know that you can trip out, you know that you can see things that aren't there. And so any such, any such supposed spiritual experience, I mean, I don't know if you caught the video I made where I was talking about these really twisted guys that thought they had these delusions of grandeur. The guy that would change, he thought he was changing the weather patterns by the compass orientation of his nightly ejaculation. And after talking to these kinds of people long enough, I mean, have there been moments where I felt like at one and at peace with everything? Sure. But it became really clear to me that any such experience is questionable. Any such experience. The only thing I really have left is just logic itself.
I see.
So yeah, it's a logical thing for me.
I like the example that you gave, because you give an interpretation of spirituality or God. But that's right, it's an interpretation. And then we ask the question, are all interpretations created equal? And I think we need to be prejudiced a little bit. And when we look, some people resonate with us as rational people. They're like, that's an intelligent human being. I sense this. I'm aware of that. And that's that inner compass, I guess you're trusting at that point. So, and then you talk with other people, and they get the same kind of thing. So now there's this intersubjective compass going on. So I wanted to ask you guys, we're getting into developmental psychology and maybe the developmental evolution of spirit and spirituality. Do you guys see any validity to pursuing studies that try to go down this avenue? Because there's some interesting reactions to it. Some people are completely on board, and some people are adamantly against it or opposed to any type of ranking, structural, marginalizing system. I know those are negative connotations.
What was the first one? It broke up.
What's that?
The first question?
What was the first thing that you said? You said developmental something, and then...
Oh, psychology, and then, or maybe the possibility of the evolution of spirituality. So, have you guys looked into that at all? Do you buy this claim that there seems to be an eros or an evolution unfolding, and therefore a complexifying interpretation?
In other words,
God or spirit.
There's like, okay, so there's a mythic God, right, that many fundamentalists believe in.
And even before that, there's a magic God
before that
uses irrational things, but it's crucial because it understands cause and effect.
Right.
This is beyond this instinctual, just nature surviving mode God. That's just doesn't even have time to link cause and effect. But this cause and effect, like you were talking about, Jonathan, this man is making a link. It's an irrational, it's a pre-rational link. But nonetheless, it's trying to make
beginnings of causality, at least. But so, I mean, generally, this idea of the evolution of spirituality, or spirituality changing as the psychology of human beings develops, we go through stages. There's the magic stage, as we just discussed. There's the mythic stage. There's the mental, you could say, deistic stage. Then there's this transition period that we're sort of in the midst of now, where there are a lot of atheists starting to crop up everywhere. But perhaps there's another developmental structure of consciousness waiting to emerge, which will move beyond atheism. I guess we'll start with James. I mean, do you see...
But not divorced from.
No, it doesn't deny atheism. It sort of just, includes it and transcends it.
This is where we're walking on shaky ground with this, because you get a little bit of bad taste of hierarchies.
But as we said, we need to be prejudiced when it comes... I mean, an atheist is saying that a theist is misguided and delusionary, right? And indeed, at times, they can be. So that's already a hierarchical sort of thing, right? So, I mean, James, do you see any validity to this sort of evolutionary picture of the way humans express themselves spiritually?
I can see that, especially with the kind of research that's gone into neurology and consciousness. As our understanding of these things has changed, the mechanism involved in the perception of reality and the processing of our experiences, the very way in which we think about those experiences and the processes has changed. And we've seen so many things that prior were inexplicable, that were these fantastic experiences for us, that we're now understanding on the level of the brain, how these things are processed and what it is that comprises our experience of them. So in this sort of evolutionary arc, sitting in the perspective that I am as an atheist, I will say that whatever it is that is driving the human perspective, that there is this thing, be it the magic god, the mythic god, so on and so forth, there is a fact of the matter somewhere. And that we strive to understand that. Now, if that is, as it seems to me that it would be, on the level of the brain, then that is where we should look for. But we should look for whatever it is. But I think that it verges, again, from my perspective, with these things being functions of the brain, our experience of the world, and these things that we perceive as being God really happening in our head. Lost my train of thought. Hold on.
Right.
I think we run into the danger of anthropomorphizing what the fact of this matter could be. Right. So maybe all of humanity is connected by this deeper functioning of the brain that we don't understand, and we're calling that God, and we're making it into something more than a fact of the matter. Right. I think there's a danger in that.
I see.
Did you want to address that, Jonathan? Did I see a grin on your face when you spoke about something, a particular term?
No. I think James is fine in what he was saying. I do have a problem, though, with any attempt to sort of understand the so-called spiritual evolution in a teleological sort of way. Because that is to say that we're on this path, we're destined this way, and by God, I'm the one that knows where we ought to go.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
It's like evolution, like through natural selection, is not teleological. It's just eventual. It's just by happenstance. This stuff happens. So to say that, like, and you hear this a lot on YouTube, and especially the kinds of viewers that I know will be watching this, they talk about, the destiny, the spiritual destiny of humanity, and all this kind of stuff. And it really is scary. It's scary stuff, because it's potentially like an Aryan race for ideologues. It's like, I'm on this path, you're not, and that's the end of it. So I really don't like it. I don't think that we are on a teleological, developmental, spiritual, anything sort of where we go from like a rabbit that has sex all the time to some, body of light that floats around the cosmos.
Damn it!
I don't buy into any of that. I don't. Sorry. I don't, and I don't like that kind of stuff. And I think people latch onto that because it gives them no.
I want to
not.
sound
It's
intelligent
not.
now.
People
That's,
do
and
this.
you made a video. That's all you have to do is say straw man.
Oh, sorry. Right.
See, I watch videos.
So, yeah. Well, thank you. I don't know. I think really it's all right here. It's right now. If there is some sort of form of spirituality to be had, it's not. I don't think it exists on a gradient. It is there or it is not, and it's in this moment. I don't think we're destined to any place in particular. It just happens. And I think if you really want to talk about, the Whole Ones Network, if you want to talk about community, is that something that we should set up for the future, or is that something that we should embrace in the moment?